So, good afternoon, everyone. May I extend a warm welcome to everyone that is seeing us today on behalf of Porto Business School and of the Executive Masters in International Business. So this webinar has been promoted by the Executive Masters in International Business at PBS, who is co-directed by Pedro Vieira and by myself. I would like to start by thanking emphatically our speakers today, Natalia Malicheva and Carlos Portinha, who give us the pleasure and the privilege of being here with us today to share one of the really inspiring cases in a very specific industry in which this company is really world-class. And I would really like to thank our speakers and make a brief introduction of our speakers today. And then from then on, better than anyone else, they will brief us on this extraordinary case of the Insparya Group. I would like to start by introducing Natalia Malicheva, who is someone that I really deeply admire and I have the pleasure of knowing for several years. Natalia is on the board of the Insparya Group, and she's also a partner of Valis Capital Partners, who is a leading private equity group in Portugal. Natalia has a very relevant and vast experience in the financial sector in areas like mergers and acquisitions, capital markets, private equity, among others. She has developed her experience in the banking sector, in consultancy, as well as on the private equity area. Natalia is an economist. She holds a Master's of Science in Economics. She's certified by the CFA Institute, and she has several other relevant qualifications in her field. And Natalia is a reference in this area of investments in companies, among others. So we have also the pleasure of having with us today Carlos Portinha, who is the Chief Clinical Officer, the CCO at the Insparya Group. Carlos is a medical doctor. He has studied at the prestigious medicine faculty of the University of Porto, specialized in family medicine, and postgraduated in sports medicine and aesthetic medicine. Carlos is really a leader both in research and practice in air transplant. He has specific training by leading international organizations like the International Society of Air Restoration Surgery, also by the Artes Robotic Technique, certified by Restoration Robotics. He has hair transplant clinical experience and practice since 2010, being responsible for over 2,000 air transplants performed directly and responsibility over 60,000 air transplants in the whole group, in the whole Insparya Group. Furthermore, he has a very accomplished research career. He's the main researcher, so he's also a leader in research in this area for the clinical area of the whole Insparya and I3S, the prestigious Institute of Porto University. The Insparya Group and I3S have a consortium focusing on research on stem cells applied to alopecia. He also leads the clinical supervision and responsibility for the whole of the technological development applied to new techniques and hair transplantation devices of the Insparya Tech branch of the Insparya Group and the Insparya Science and Clinical Institute. He's an associate member of the International Society of Hair Restoration Surgery, of the European Hair Research Society, and also a member of the Portuguese Society of Aesthetic Medicine and Cosmetic Surgery. So we couldn't be in better hands, both from the business side and both from the research and clinical side. And so without further ado, I would like, thanking everyone again for your presence, I would like to pass then the floor to our speakers.
Thank you very much, Anna. So I think before we talk in more details of our international story, about international success, it's important for us to understand what exactly Insparya is and what it is doing, because that is, as you see further, was and is continuing to be a critical success story for our international expansion. So, as you may know, Insparya, we have one of the best ambassadors that the company can have, which is Cristiano Ronaldo, who is one of our also minority shareholder. So I spend just a few minutes, very brief, to introduce where we are at this moment. We are, as we speak, we have 12 clinics across several countries, mostly in Portugal, Spain, Italy, and now we enter Middle East. We are a global leader, but of course we are the first market leader in Spain and Portugal. We have employ over 400 people across the regions. Most of them are qualified nurses and medical people, as well as, of course, important management team. About exactly what we do, I think it's important that I will reserve this for Carlos, who is much more than me, understand they can explain it better. Insparya is a very well-known brand, not only in Portugal, but everywhere, with all relevant awards, and we are one of the only clinics in Portugal that has been certified. And this is a very important thing for us as we started our story and continue internationally. Then international success, as in many companies, as you may imagine, is very much driven by the shareholders and their aspirations. It all started, of course, with Paulo, and Paulo Ramos, who is our CEO, is co-founder. Cristiano Ronaldo joined him later on, and when we at Valish Capital Partners, our fund that bought a participation in 2019, so we are about 5 years in this company, together with Hermes, which is our co-investor in this company. We have over 6 billion under asset management based in London. And so when we've invested, we already had the benefit of Cristiano Ronaldo and his brand, in the brand recognition that we could benefit. We had a different name, but Carlos will talk more about that in details. So what is important, maybe from here, that, as I said, shareholders define a lot international path and exposure. So when we joined, Insparya had only one clinic in Madrid, only exactly because Cristiano Ronaldo at that stage played in Real Madrid. So maybe unorthodoxly, but our expansion at Insparya is being driven by our brand ambassador. So to benefit from where he plays and the knowledge of him and the better success of marketing, we started follow his path. So he was in Madrid. We opened the first our clinic in Madrid, and we started our Spanish expansion. Then we went to play in Juventus, and we went to open the clinic in Milan and Italy. And now that he plays in the Middle East, we have to go to Middle East. Doesn't mean that there is no lots of planning and not the other geography that we've tried and we decided to put on hold. I will talk a little bit later on that. But in our particular case, Insparya, the international growth and the choice of international market has been driven by our ambassador. So I will in the second pass to Carlos, but I wanted for you to know, because our international success that we believe so far has been a success, it's been driven by the fact that we are what we do and how we do it is a very unique. The technology and research and development effort that Insparya puts in Portugal is very unique, and that distinguishes us from the competition and makes us the brand that can go to any market and be a leader very quickly. So we have that benefit because we've established that structure of innovation. We created the brand with the help of SRZ. And then we move to the expansion at the later stage. And of course, nothing we can do without the best management team. I will talk about at the end of the presentation how important the people that we do. And we have a pleasure of having a very experienced management team, being Carlos one of them here with us. And then I will pass you in much better hands of explaining the path of Insparya and exactly what we do. Carlos.
So first of all, I'd like to thank this kind of invitation to be with you all, and that came from the Porto Business School. It's I'm very honored to be here and to share a little bit of what we are, our market position, and what we want to do in the future. So starting by the past, we started in 2009 as Saúde Viável. We started as a small clinic in Lisbon, and all these projects started because our CEO suffered from alopecia, and he couldn't find a solution in the market for his alopecia. He spent lots of money, lots of time, lots of energy, and lots of himself, even his self-esteem, into looking to a solution for himself and also for the others. So he opened the first clinic of the group. At the beginning, just a small clinic, as I told you. But since the beginning, with this intention of finding new solutions, being something different in the market, and not just copying what there was in the market. Me, myself, I found Saúde Viável as a patient. That's the former name of Insparya. As a patient, I did my hair transplant in 2009. All you see is the transplanted hair. I was completely bald at the top of my head. When we decided to expand, when Paulo Ramos decided to expand to Porto, invited me. I was already doing training in this area. He invited me and accepted his invitation to be the clinical director of also a small clinic in Porto. But the business grew, and we needed to find in 2016 new locations for our clinics. So we opened new clinics both in Lisbon and Porto. And with the continuity of this growing, in 2018, 2 years after, we opened the third clinic in Vila Moura. Though we just opened and I'm just doing a big step here, though we just opened our Insparya Science and Clinical Institute in 2020, we started our research, both biomedical and technological, way before. We were working with universities. We started our consortium with the I3S, the Institute for Innovation in Health, Investigation and Research and Innovation in Health from the Porto University. And we were working also with universities like the Porto University, the Braga University, and other universities, as Coimbra too, for our technological branch. In 2019, or some years before, Cristiano Ronaldo knew us. We were doing hair transplants to several football players. He wanted to invest in medicine, in scientific research, a scientific research group, and he asked us if he could visit us, if he could see how we work it, and who we were, because he understood from the beginning that we were not only a good clinical group, but also we were something different. So he visited us, he knew the business, and he decided to join forces with us. So in 2019, we started Insparya. So we changed the name of the company. The reason is obvious. Saúde Viável is only understood in Portuguese. I'm talking in English, and most of you who don't speak in Portuguese won't even know what this means. So we needed to find a new name, and a name that could be a brand, and the brand in which we would have the rights of the name too, because of this big name, Cristiano Ronaldo. And Insparya was born. Insparya comes from inspiration, because we are inspired to do better every day. We are inspired to create new solutions for this problem every day. So it is, as Cristiano is who he is, and for me he still is the best player in the world. He is this because he works every day to excel the others and himself. We do the same in our work. We do everything we can to excel ourselves and to excel the others, of course, and be the best in our area. So the growth continued, and in 2020 we finally opened our Insparya Science and Clinical Institute, being able to have in-house all our research, both technological and biomedical. This doesn't mean we don't keep our partnership with universities and the very important partnership with the I3S. But now we have our own space, let's say like this, where we can do our research in intimate relation with the clinical area. This space is in Porto, and it is in the same building where we also do air transplants in Porto. So our doctors, me, myself, and our researchers, we work together to find new solutions, and we can get our results faster because we talk between ourselves, and we do our new findings and our innovations always with this backup from the ones who work in the field. But the growth continued, and in 2021 we will open our fourth clinic in Portugal, in Braga, and our second clinic abroad, still in Spain, in Marbella. As a curiosity, we just changed this location to Malaga, not because it was a failure. No, on the other way, it was a big success, and we had to find a bigger city, so we changed our facilities to Malaga. In 2022, we opened our fifth clinic in Portugal, in Viseu, and we launched our mesotherapy, our own brand mesotherapy that comes from our biomedical research with two options, the mesotherapy to do in clinic and to do at home. And we opened the third clinic in Spain, and we opened also the first clinic outside of Iberia, this time in Milan, the first clinic in Italy. I can tell you, I can advance you that we'll open during this year, till the end of the year, another clinic in Italy, this time in Rome. In 2023, we opened our fourth clinic in Spain, in Bilbao, and our fifth clinic in Spain, in Barcelona. So you see the expansion is huge and fast. And we launched a new device that I will tell you more. I will talk more in detail in the next slides, which is the Botair Ultra Plus. And this year we opened our first clinic in the Middle East, starting our Middle East expansion. So we opened our first clinic in Muscat, in Oman. And I can also tell you that we'll open our first clinic in Saudi, in the city where our Cristiano lives and works. So we'll open our new clinic in Riyadh. Here are all our clinics and locations. We always have state-of-the-art facilities, amazing clinics. Our clinics are always an extension of we want it to be the extension of our homes, of the houses and the homes of our patients. So they are always very comfortable, very welcoming, and we always have top of the art air transplant rooms and technology. As I told you, we are opening in Rome and Riyadh soon. So, but I'm a doctor, so I couldn't talk about our business without talking about the disease that we make research and that we try and that we diagnose and try to treat. This disease is called alopecia, common baldness. Alopecia, androgenic alopecia is known as common baldness, but alopecia is the loss of any kind of hair loss, being it more precocious, being it as we get older, being it localized, being it general. It is a disease classified by the World Health Organization in international classification of diseases. It is not only a disease, but it is a disease that brings other diseases like depression. Some patients suffer from low self-esteem due to the hair loss. If this is understandable in men, try to understand this as a woman and what a woman can feel when she loses hair. So this can cause depression, anxiety. But another thing that many of us forget most of the time is that our hair is the protection for our scalp. So a bald scalp is a scalp that is more prone to suffer from the effects of the sun rays, of the ultraviolet rays, such as skin cancer. I can tell you that there's a very nice study done in both in the UK and Germany, where clinicians found that the number of skin cancers starting at the scalp increased by 10 in the last 5 years. And this is due to baldness. So when we do a hair transplant, we are preventing also cancer. And this is very important. But I won't bother you with all this technique and scientific details, because we here to talk about business. So talking about it, our business areas are four, mainly four. Our core business is hair transplant, hair to hair, but we also have what we call now our non-core business, which are eyebrow transplants and beard transplants, but also hair treatments. Hair treatments are nowadays a non-core business, but it's part of our strategy to make it also a co-core business, let's call it like this, because we found that with international expansion, we found this to be a very interesting market too. And since we do hair research, we're also on the best position to bring new treatments to the market, and using, of course, our ambassadors, not only Cristiano Ronaldo, but many ambassadors you have. Cristiano Ronaldo is an ambassador and owner of the company, co-owner of the company. Using them, we can make this also a very important part of the business. But for you to understand also what is Insparya, Insparya is what it is because we have a very streamlined, efficient, and simple approach to the patient. The first consultation, since the patient is caught by a lead or directly by other patients or by reference from hairdressers, doctors, etc. Patient comes to our clinics, he does his evaluation, his diagnostic assessment. We also do a very complete health survey. We propose the treatment, we plan the treatment, and we schedule the treatment. Usually the patient, when the patient leaves the clinic, he exits the clinic already with his treatment scheduled, being it a hair transplant or other treatment. If the treatment is a hair transplant, it is important for you to know that in Insparya, the hair transplants, even hair transplants of over 4,000 follicular units, which mean over 9 to 10,000 hairs, because we have a single, double, triple, etc. follicular units, which produce 1, 2, 3, 4 or more hairs. We do it in just 1 day. Most of the clinics, to achieve this performance, they have to do it in 2 or more days. And we do it like this because we use advanced technology, which is precise, reliable, and fastens the process. So when the patient arrives, we prepare the patient, of course. Then we start the follicular unit extraction. At the same time, when we end the follicular unit extraction, the patient has a light lunch with us. So I usually make a joke about this, that the first thing the patient does with us is choosing what is getting for lunch. So we do the follicular unit extraction. At the same time, we have nurses. We only work with doctors and nurses. We don't use technicians working in the patient, because we always follow the rules and the laws, of course. At the same time we're doing the extraction, we have nurses analyzing the follicular units, and then after lunch we start the follicular units implantation, and about 5 to 6 hours after the arrival of the patient, we are ending our hair transplant, and the patient is going home. This is an ambulatory procedure. The patient goes home, he rests at home for the first 3 days, and the 4th day he does his first wash. Then we do a long follow-up till 1.5 years after the hair transplant. We do a follow-up with in-person consultation or online consultations to our patients. And during this timeline, we also suggest other treatments, because the patient, some of them still have hair, and we have to treat. Alopecia is a continuous disease, so we have to treat this disease. It's like if you have hypertension, you go to the doctor, you get the medicine to the hypertension, but you have to understand that the hypertension will live with you, even if controlled, for your whole life. With alopecia, it is exactly the same. But we don't have only, as I told you, hair transplants. We have exclusive hair treatments, and as I also told you already, these treatments have a significant potential to become an important revenue stream. Now, today, we have the MesoAir Plus hair mesotherapy, being it the clinic or the home solution. We have the active plasma Insparya, which is PRP, platelet-rich plasma, which is derived from our blood, but ours is a bit different. That's why it is exclusive. We are just launching a new device, the 4th-gen Insparya, which is an absolute exclusive in all the markets where Insparya exclusive in all the markets where we are and will be. We also have scalp micropigmentation, which is it is like making some dots, like you see in the image, to simulate hair, and this is useful for patients who don't have a good area to undergo hair transplants, or who undergo hair transplants, but we can get enough density, and we always explain this in the beginning to the patient, so we can complement with micropigmentation because it simulates the presence of hair among the other hairs. And as I told you, very precociously, we launched our own brand of shampoos. These are shampoos, all of them with several indications, but all natural, with no parabens, with no salt, with no alcohol, etc. And amazing shampoos. I use them myself. And I don't know, I can say this. Well, Cristiano too. And Insparya distinguishes itself because of our excellence in our clinical area, but also because of our own research, being it biomedical, performed with this amazing group. Elsa Lugarinho is a PhD in aneuploidy and anti-aging. Mafalda Gallardo is also a PhD in integrated systems biology, and Joana Magalhães, PhD in pharmacological and cell-based regenerative therapies. So this is we combine all these areas, with me living and with my clinical background, to make research in several key areas, to analyze molecular signatures in human hair follicle cells. We are on one of the groups, research groups, that know more about hair and hair follicles. We develop cellular assays for compounding, for screens, compound screening, and from these we do preclinical testing of new compounds for hair growth. I can advance to you, and this is you are almost the first to know that we are entering a 4th phase clinical study of a new drug for alopecia, and this will put not only Insparya but Portugal in the leading as leaders in research and hair treatment. So I hope we are about to launch a new treatment, a new pharmac for hair growth, which is amazing. But we also do research in cell expansion. We try to expand the cells in vitro, so we try to create not only regenerative therapies, but I hope we'll try to multiply the follicular units in lab for all those patients that don't have a good donor area. But we are also tech research with these 5 amazing researchers. I'm looking at the watch, and I know I speak too much, so I'll try to fasten my presentation. And due to this amazing research, we launched, as I told you, the Voltaire Ultra Plus. This is the most advanced technology applied to hair transplant. This technology, our own and patented technology, allows us to do the procedure in a shorter time. It allows us to extract the follicular units with less damage, and this because we cut the skin, we extract the follicular unit, we aspirate, and this is an absolute novelty. We aspirate and we store the follicular unit without touching it, which is absolutely amazing. And this allows our follicular units to have a higher survival rate. And it's also an automated process, which is more comfortable for the team with less risk of error. But for me as CCO, it is amazing because I can guarantee that a neck transplant done in Porto, in Lisbon, in Milan, in Madrid, in Muscat, or wherever in the world, will be more or less the same at transplant because we are less and less dependent on human differences. And this is very, very, very important. Though we have high-skilled doctors and nurses trained in-house in our academy, even though we can always have difference between teams. And with this device, the differences are lower and lower and lower. And because also we are a quality certified group, we can guarantee that a neck transplant done in Porto or anywhere else by an Insparya team will be mostly the same. This device is also a multi-implanter. For you to have an idea, we reduced for the implantation period of the hair transplant, we reduced the movements that the physicians have to do in 25 times. So this is absolutely amazing. To charge we have barrels with 25 follicular units at the same time. To charge these, we created also the barrel charger device that charges the barrels without touching the follicular units, only with aspiration. And of course, this gives us better and better follicular units. We also developed the follicular unit counting system, in control, and many other things that I didn't put here, like we are developing a system to give the anesthesia automatically. We created a new device based on the artificial intelligence that counts the follicular units in the head of the patient after a neck transplant, and this gives the patient a certification of how many follicular units he has in his head, and this is absolutely new. No one has this in the market. This was a comparison between what we have and what exists in the market, and all these gray boxes are the reasons why we never bought any of these devices, though we tried them all, and we developed our own device. And this is, as I told you, one of the big differences of Insparya. But we are not happy, so we want to make the process more and more automated. So we are creating a robot, a collaborative robot that will do the hair transplant, also with a robotic arm, always commanded by a physician, by a doctor, helped by a nurse. So the intention of this is not reducing the team, is being sure that the procedure is done mostly the same way in every patient. And I say mostly because the patients are all different. This can accelerate the process, reduce the manual handling, and maintain our high quality standards. So if you didn't understand already why we are different from the others, and why this expansion is being a huge success, is because I won't talk about the competitors' approach, but I will talk about our approach. I prefer to talk about us and not about the others. So Insparya's approach is a premium pricing approach because we give our patients a premium treatments. We have a strong medical premium brand. All our clinicians are very well trained with us. For you to have an idea, a medical doctor and a nurse to be free to do a neck transplant has to have around 60 to 100 hair transplants in their hands just during the training. We have high-end clinic facilities. We have the high focus in investment and R&D. Our in-house developed method, a faster method helped by our Botair Ultra Plus, high efficacy and expect higher air survival rate, a highly experienced medical staff, and a vast offer of complementary of other treatments. So this is Insparya, and now I pass the word. Sorry for talking too much, but I'm passionate about what I do, and sometimes I can't stop talking. So, but I'm stopping now, and I'm passing to Natalia again to tell you more about.
Thank you very much. It is extremely important to understand what we do and how we innovate, because that's been a key to our success in the global market. There are obviously, as you may all know, different strategy of expansion, different strategy of internationalization. Our strategy is offering exactly the same transplant, premium quality everywhere around the world, and that's been our core, and that's where, when the heart in Porto, where Carlos is working, that's where we transport around the globe our knowledge. We cannot talk about global expansion of Insparya without talking about the global marketing. The marketing team when the word marketing is done is everything to us. 1 or 2 days bad of marketing, and we have 1 or 2 bad weeks of ahead or in Insparya. Of course, on the global level, with the help of SRC brand, we build the brand awareness. On the local level, on the local markets, we do digital marketing campaigns every day, analyzing performance and doing the most advanced analysis we can do. We use celebrities in each market, so local marketing knowledge, local teams are very important, how they market our product and how they move. Of course, we use ambassadors, not only Cristiano Ronaldo, but for the others. And of course, locally, we always do the publicity and local marketing. So this is a very important, marketing is the heart, is R&D, marketing is the heart of Insparya, and it's the heart of Insparya success. Our with the growth that's been forecast for the next 10 years, we believe as shareholders of Insparya and our management team will continue to explore. So with 20% annual growth that is forecasted for the next 10 years, it's almost no-brainer that Insparya have to go globally and continue. It doesn't make sense for us, that's in our to have more than 2 clinics per country, because we do orient on the premium market in a premium, almost luxury medical treatment. So this has been designed our strategy that I just touched in a bit. So if we move forward, then we have, I'm not gonna talk too much about that. Of course, I mean, everybody, we are still very old-fashioned, so we do have to analyze where we are and where we stand. I would concentrate on the difficulties and the hardship that we've been internationally. The price competition is Carlos didn't want to talk about competitors, but the truth is, everywhere that you go, hair transplant, they go to Turkey, which is an incredibly cheap country to do the hair transplant. We don't find ourselves competing with the Turkish market because it's a very different market, very different hair quality of transplant, very different services. So we do not compare that. However, exactly, when we go wherever the market they go, the competitors then go and try to move the price down. We do not play the price wars. We prefer to maintain our premium positioning, our premium services, because we are, if anybody knows more, as you could imagine, about hair transplant and the quality of hair transplant that is being done is an Insparya. So we maintain that, but we recognize this is the threat for our market. Of course, there's always regulation. Maybe Carlos will talk on the next slide. It's even better. It's almost one of the last things we're going to talk in 2 minutes. What is the challenges that's been run for us in internationalization? And one of the biggest challenges for us, of course, we have to be very locally aware. localization, cultural sensitivities. We are in the middle, we just opened this year in the Middle East, and Carlos knows perfectly well that the clinics we opened was exactly before Ramadan. So the first few good weeks we didn't do anything, and we were just adjusting the clinics and the teaching the nurses. So the how we publicize who is our clients is very important, not only on the marketing, but the local teams are very much concerned. We always send the Portuguese team first. We trained, we send the best to train the local teams, being in the nurse or being in the marketing area, and then of course we try to if the regulations permit and labor law permits, we hire local professionals. Technology and service level, as I said, everywhere around the world, this has been our offering. We do that because we are so good in what we do. It's easy for us to sell our services. Brand positioning, it has to be everywhere. We don't do low cost in one country and premium position in the other. Insparya only work on the premium market. A team, I cannot emphasize enough importance of the team. We employ over 400 people at this moment, and we are 12 clinics. So as we expand, even though with a lot of technological advances, there will some sort of, I wouldn't say substantial, but there will be redistribution of the work that we are doing. Our people, how they trained, constant training, constant innovation is very in the heart of our international success, or in success, as we've already had some in success. And legal, of course, regulatory compliance is incredibly important and it's very relevant. I can't, there are some, we've tried some other geographies, explore, before we opened the clinic, of course, we talked to local medics, we studied the markets, and because of labor regulations or different publicity restriction, we abandoned some of the market at this stage. So, as I said, with 20% annual growth forecast for the hair transplant market and hair treatment, we will continue to grow. And our next 10-year plan, I think it's in the next and the final slide. So we are, I wouldn't say the timeline exactly, but it's 10 years. Maybe I will not be there to implement that, as I hope to sell Insparya our participation by then, but we never know. But I'm hoping that Carlos will be opening new clinics everywhere around the world. But at this moment, we are moving very quick, very fast to Middle East. We are also targeting and starting to study Chinese market and the premium Chinese market, and North America, which is a very good pricing point, including Canada, and of course Brazil is also in the radar of our expansion. So this is what we do. This is how we're gonna continue to expand with the help of brilliant people that with us. And I think we are done. We started a bit late, talk a lot, but I'm very happy to give the floor to the questions.
Just, I will just add something to the local specificities, and it's really interesting. And now we're entering the Middle East market, and with different cultures, with different with more or less impositions. For instance, because of religious matters or others. We have to adapt also the way we do things, the way we do the consultations, for instance, the way we approach our patients, the way we advise our patients after a neck transplant, for instance, because we have to understand that the man, if he does a neck transplant, he wants to wear the head protections. They have several names depending on the countries, because of religious matters, and they won't leave their houses without it. And we always have some restrictions on that, so we have to adapt. I can tell that in Mascata, one of the first things I did was buying one of the things. I forgot the name. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anyone, but I forgot the name. I went to buy one of them. I asked if I could use it, non being a Muslim, and they said, yeah, you can use, of course. It's a sign of respect for us. And I tried it to see how I can put and how I can take it off, so I could explain our patients and train our our medical staff to give this kind of how do you say well, to explain the patients how to use it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Special
And
time.
and this is one of the things. There are several things, as Natalia said. Ramadan is not as Christmas in Christian countries, that has one day, a mark day in our calendar. No, it varies on the moon and on the what the high priest decide when it starts. So there's always some very big differences, and we have to count on them to make this business thrive and growing as we are doing.
Okay, so thank you very much for this introduction and all the details. In terms of, well, you have explained also about the different cultures, and some of the countries are closer than others. Spain is right behind the corner, but the Gulf countries are really different. And well, did you have to adapt your business model there? Do you invest directly in the markets by opening the clinics? Do you have local partners? How do you do it?
It depends. In some countries, in Spain and in Italy, we open directly. Of course, we count on find the right local professionals, normally a clinical director or operational director that is with us, the important of our success. In some countries, like in Middle East, and exactly what Carlos referred, our first clinic that we opened in Amman, it was in partnership. Exactly because we need to be there for a while to understand the pricing point, to understand the labor laws, because it's very difficult we don't go to details, but there are very specific labor regulation and restrictions of how you can fire a person. So to avoid all this confusion and to advance the business, we did it in a partnership with the private hospital. So at the moment, we are just on the revenue share stream with them. So it does depends on the market, how we expand.
Yes, I believe so. And you have showed in the map that the next countries could be China and United States. And you know, why those countries? Can we assume that Cristiano Ronaldo will play for a Chinese club or an American club?
No, don't make those assumptions based on our expansion.
But
Usually we follow him, he doesn't follow us. He followed us in the beginning, but now we're following him.
But how
now
do you
not again.
how is the process of selecting the markets, and why, you know, North America, you also mentioned Canada, and why China? Knowing that the Chinese, they have a lot of hair, didn't they?
Lesser and lesser. Yeah, it's changing a lot. Yeah.
I think one of the attraction for us in North America, I won't hide from you, is the pricing point. Hair transplant there is incredibly expensive, much more expensive than the European market, and there are much less. Although there are global recognized players, we don't see a direct competition. So we see a lot of space. There's a lot of potential clientele in the big city of the US and Canada. And there are and the premium service that we do, and the technology, again, we spend so much on technology innovation exactly because there's nobody else that we know in the market globally that offer what we offer. So with the good pricing point and with they are lacking behind innovation as we do, we believe we can quickly, and when I mean quickly, within 1 year already have a quick break even and generate a positive contribution to the growth. And China, nobody can now do things without doing China. I think it's not easy for Chinese to copy what we do. So I believe we will have, there's a big premium market. Chinese market is very interesting, very expensive, further and further growing. So Carlos probably have more insight. At least I don't think we have chosen the growth because of Cristiano. We have chosen the growth because of the positioning of Insparya.
Okay.
Cristiano name and his influence in the markets is also important, of course, for the marketing side of the business. And in China, Cristiano is adored. So, of course, it is also a plus for us when we think about those kind of markets.
Okay.
And
I
it's
have two
important to
questions.
think. Yes.
I have two
I
questions.
usually say,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I usually
No
say
problem.
that patients can come to us because of Cristiano, but they never do the entrance because of Cristiano. They do it because they know we are the best or
Yes.
that we excel in what we do.
Sure. We have two questions from the participants, and one of them is that it was noticed that there aren't any expansion plans to Africa at the moment. And the question is if there's any particular reason for that, or some special challenges why you don't plan to expand there soon. And the second question has to do with pricing. And Patricia is asking, you know, with the possibility of traveling easily nowadays, how do you establish pricing in the different clinics, considering that, you know, it's very easy to go from one place to the other?
Maybe I can take the Africa one and Natalia take the price one. So Africa, we're not thinking on expanding right now there. First of all, because you have to look for the market. We have to go to markets where we have bold people, and it is known for us who know alopecia. We know that that African people, they don't suffer as much as the other I don't like to talk about races, but other locations, people, let's say it like this, or other genetics, people with other genetics, they don't suffer as much as others do from alopecia, and there is a huge difference. Also, performing a neck transplant in a very curly hair is not as easy as performing it, as it's not the same as doing it in a non-ultra curly hair. So, and we need very specialized teams for this kind of hair. So this is the main reason. Clinically, maybe Natalia wants to add some more business and non-clinical reasons, but these are the clinical reasons. Of course, when we are thinking on expanding, we'll go to countries where we'll have clientele arriving and not opening just for opening, of course.
Yes. And about the pricing, it's a very good question indeed. And it's a hard one we've discussed before we enter we are entering Middle East, because Middle East market also is so far has been, it doesn't really have an offering. We don't have competition in the Middle East. People from Middle East tend to go to Turkey to do the hair transplant, and the Turkish prices are very low.
And Iran, Turkey and Iran are the two countries.
I think when we enter the market, we create the premium market for hair transplant, and so it's almost irrelevant. We will never compare transplant in Turkey done in our clinic Insparya. Of course, we will target higher, and we are targeting higher pricing point in Middle East than we do in Spain and Portugal, because we are the first comers there. We have technology, we have the power, and we know people for the hair transplant, especially from Middle East, not necessarily will just take a plane and go to have a hair transplant in Madrid. They are very welcome to do, and we will be very happy to offer that to them if they want to. But for various reasons, for recovery, they will keep on preferring that. Tendency probably at the beginning, as we've seen that in the other markets also, we enter at the premium price point. We probably, as we expand, as we grow, as there are more patients, we will slightly adjust the pricing point, but not necessarily high. So our pricing point depends on the competition that is there, not the competition, local competition, and the purchasing power of the people. But of course, for example, hair transplant in Portugal and Spain are very comparable pricing. Or Italy, maybe a little bit high, but if you go from here to do in Italy, or Italian go to here, you probably won't gain too much of a difference with the hotel costs and,
Yeah,
and
of
the
course.
plane
Yeah, true.
tickets. I think it will be like for like, more or less the same. There are
Yeah,
differences.
yeah. Even Muscat, if a patient from Muscat wants to come to Italy or Portugal or Spain to do their transplant, with all costs implied in coming and going back, it's way more expensive coming to Portugal, Spain, or Italy than doing at home.
And it's local support, local medics. So
Of
at
course.
this moment,
Yeah.
our positioning is high in the market if there is a market for that.
When we opened Oman, we were very well received. Our opening ceremony, in our opening ceremony, we had the top of the tops of Oman there because they understood that we were bringing something new to Oman, creating new job opportunities, bringing excellency, bring science to Oman, and also making this market grow also in Oman and putting Oman as a destination for a transplant and excellency, excellency care in these areas. So they were very proud to have us there and thanking us for choosing their country, for opening one of our branches. And this is very good also for us because we feel that we are understood when we come to these markets. People understand us and they understand why we are going there and what we are doing. And this is very, very important for us and for me to I will keep in the I will keep in Insparya, and it's very, very good for me to see how we grow and how welcomed we are in these new markets.
I also have here a question because considering the level of excellence and responsibility that you have in each, transplant that you do, because there are different ways to grow internationally, and sometimes, you must control your procedures, your area that you work on. Because in your case, it would be completely far-fetched to think that you could have a sort of franchising even with your, techniques. It would be something that wouldn't, I think, maybe, but I would like to ask you as well. The other thing is about your potential new core business, because how do you evaluate the potential of the market for related cosmetics? Because the market for transplants is already quite considerable. But I would suppose that, even without having any study on that the market for people that would like to purchase effective products, to retard or to try to mitigate these genetic aspects of alopecia with that. So if you could expand a little bit more on this exploration of this new potential market, please.
I'll keep last, Talia. You answer the first, please.
Yes, I can answer. Yes, Anna, I think franchising is not exactly the model we are at the moment considering, especially because it's of our R&D. Because our R&D has always been much, not only pioneers, we are light years above the competition. So to do the franchising and to guarantee the quality of the transport and to know because we do the same branding, Insparya, one badly done transplant reinforced with Cristiano Ronaldo as the shareholders, because Cristiano bringing a lot of positive things, but it also brings a lot of negative publicity or attention of the media. So we cannot have the benefit of failure. So I think when we do growth in the market, luckily, when we start from Portugal and Spain and from European markets, our European regulation are at this moment much more strict than any other regulation where we enter in terms of the healthcare. If Carlos corrects me if I'm wrong. So we implement the same standards of healthcare where we go as we do in Portugal, Spain, and Italy, which is the European standards, which are the highest at this moment. When we enter the US, and we're going to study that in more details, of course, before we enter, we have to comply with their standards, but as our the industry is another company that we at Valdish have confirms most of the time European standard, again, are much higher, much stricter, maybe more insurance, liabilities insurance that will be implied, but then we will be studying that. It's not in the pipeline for 25 to enter the US market, maybe in 26, 27, so we'll be, of course, doing much thorough research on that. In terms of non-core cosmetics and related products, you cannot be more right. We have a deficiency in our model, and as you may indirectly emphasize, we are one-off treatment mostly. Our patients, luckily, if done right in Insparya, will only have to have one, at maximum 2 treatments per life. So, which means that we always looking for the first-time comers. It's a very difficult market to be in. So this kind of non-core business that will allow us and is allowing us to smoothen our revenue stream, of course, and to provide enter into much easier, let's put it that way, business model than at the moment we operate. So that's why we've put so much focus on the recently on the hair treatment and shampoo and mesotherapies, and the treatment in the house on a low value, low pricing point treatments. And also, of course, we have more than 50%, I don't remember exactly the percentage, our patients are male. We do hair treatment and to make hair thicker and grow better is also very much applicable to female client, which is a clientele that is easier to prescribe. It's a growing area. So for us, it's also important to have that non-core hair treatments to capture the markets in the moment that we are not capturing. So it's very important for us in the next few years to work on this. And it's a very different business, but it's easier in some sense.
But Anna, you also asked how will we do it, because it's a difficult market. There's lots of competition, yeah. So we do it as we do in our transplants. We do offering our patients the best of the best. I can give you an example. We're launching a new line, and in this line we'll have, of course, a sun blocker for the scalp and for the hair. We could sell just a sun blocker, but we will have a sun blocker that will at the same time have several effects, not only blocking the ultraviolet rays, not only protecting the hair and the scalp, but also giving vitamins to the hair while it is there, protecting the hair from the sea damage, from the sun damage, protecting colored hair or blonde hair for all the effects that the salt from the sea and the chlorine from the pools and all the aggressions that we have when we are exposed to the environment, doing sports or having fun. So we think about all these, and when a patient looks at an Insparya sun blocker, he knows he's taking home something that is different and something that is better than the others at the same price as the best of the best now in the market without Insparya. That's how we do things. We enter the market, but we don't enter just to be there, because there's no fun on that. We enter to be the best, and to be the best, we have to have the best products, of course.
Sounds very promising, and
it will be amazing.
Legitimacy, like it gives you a very particular legitimacy considering the track record. But there's a huge market out there, indeed, to be explored. I think Pedro has some questions, also a last round of questions from the audience.
Yes, I have. I know that we are coming very close to the end of the webinar, but if you could, we have Olatunji is from Nigeria, and he's asking, how do you manage sourcing local expertise, especially when you are approaching new markets? And then we have Paulo asking and starting by, stating that given the different geographies and cultures where you are expanding to, which strategies you use to accelerate your understanding of local real life customer behavior. So if you could be brief because I see that we are getting out of time, but it would be good and great to have your views.
I can very, very quickly, and then Carlos will explain. The local expertise. It's very difficult. It's a very good question. It's very difficult. That's why I said, as our first approach, we send everybody from the best people from Portugal, from Spain, or from Italy. So these are people that's been with us many years that know exactly what they do. So we spend them there. Our chief nurse always goes there first. And of course, before opening the clinic, we either bring our own teams for the first few months, or if we have partners, we do have in Oman, we have the hospital that has the nurses, we train them. It's a bit risky approach, but we are confident that it's working. So we are training for a few months the nurses on our procedures. Our doctors is there. Once we have a long time or long time for us, maybe a year in the market, then of course we get more and more local expertise. We get partnership with local medics. We get already local nurses. We are more comfortable with regulations, so we know how it works. We know the difficulties. So then maybe a few months, 1 year, depends on the market. Already we start together local, and then we start to send back our international team. And in terms of I don't know, Carlos, if you want to put something
No,
on that.
it's that we always, of course, we do a business plan for the countries where we go. We know all the legislation, all that is needed to know about the countries, but we always send some experts from our side. For instance, to open Oman, we sent a Portugal country manager to be the Middle East country manager. So we lost our country manager in Portugal, and to send him to this new market, it's very important. I sent two of my best doctors from Portugal there. Me myself, I was there already for 1 month, and we always do that. I always, for instance, talking about me, I always go to these new locations. I'm there with my teams, not only to help them establish themselves there, but also to understand a little bit better the our environment. And we always hire people, local people, of course, and they also help us a lot knowing all these differences and all we need to know. And of course, knowledge comes with time. We don't know everything at first. We'll never know everything, but we know more and more as time passes, and that's how things go.
Exactly. And then the second question is exactly following that. We adjust as we go. Being a shareholder as a private equity, we don't really have a lot of time. So Insparya is also very, very company with a very aggressive DNA, with the growth. And we, of course, as shareholders, we also pushing for the growth as quickly as possible. So we could do a lot of research and into the market, and we just go. We go and we adjust. And then we do a lot of research. Of course, we try as much as we can, but there are so many differences. There are even Spain. You think Portugal and Spain is the same market? It's so different. It's so different in terms of labor laws, of source. It's very
Italy is completely different, and it's
completely different. And I just don't even start talking about Middle East, where we are this year. So adjustment comes. I would say we've been 5 years in Spain. We are still learning. So what this opening to learn, most important, of course, is in terms of regulation and compliance, medical compliance. At the beginning, is very important that we have the best knowledge of that with local consultants, local hospitals, local knowledge. And then, of course, we adjust as we speak, and that's our strategy. Because
this adjustment, Natalia. For instance, I gave the example of Marbella. We opened Marbella. The Marbella clinic was excelling. We were doing lots of hair transplants. We were affirming our brand there, but we realized that the place to be wasn't Marbella, it was Malaga. So we just changed to Malaga, which is in the same area. But we had to change and to adapt, because though it was being a success, we had some something's limiting our growth. So we just adapted, as Natalia said.
Well, thank you so much. I think it's been a really extraordinary experience and sharing of these very exciting case that really in Portugal we don't have so many examples that are really world leaders, and in your sector, of course, you are the world reference, and congratulations for that, and congratulations for doing something that not all companies based on science and technology do, that are able to then transpose that to the market and make it an international success story. So I think, at least from my point of view, the best is yet to come. So I expect that you are going to have a big boom, notably in Saudi Arabia, hopefully, and really, I think, and with cosmetics, because the worst, you've done the worst, that is the scientific and research part, that usually is, of course, very expensive and time consuming, but because of your expertise, maybe you leapfrogged a bit also with all the of course, the sophistication you have, but you managed to do it in a quite quick way. And I think probably, I hope I'm right, that you will have a really huge increase in your turnover also due to this second stream of income when it becomes core, hopefully, as well, so that you can sustain considerable growth and, of course, a sustainable strategy throughout the next decades, hopefully. So thank you very much. Pedro, also,
Thank you very much. Congrats and
Yeah.
everybody's saying here on YouTube, that it's amazing, your story, and
Thank you very much.
yeah,
And
It was a big
the
pleasure
audience
being here.
thanks a lot, of course.
Always count on Insparya to be with you. It's such a prestigious group. Sometimes the words miss.
Thank you so much also for all our participants, the alumni and the new students and the prospective participants. It's a pleasure to have you, and everyone is, of course, welcome to PBS. Carlos and Natalia, whenever you can, you are always welcome. Let us know if at any point you want to visit, and also our best regards to our participants that are on YouTube, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Without this, let's close the session. Thank you so much.